No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today I'm in here with a legend, a YouTube legend, a basketball legend. The professor is in the building.
Hey, honored, man. Thanks for having me.
How you feeling, man?
I feel great. I feel good, man.
It's an honor to meet you, man. Honestly, like I spent the last couple of days just deep in your channel watching all kinds of crazy shit. And you're an excellent top tier YouTuber as far as I'm concerned, my friend.
Hey, that's humbling coming from you because I've been watching you and Vlad for years now. Like,
Really?
y'all are the goats. I found out about you from watching Vlad.
Oh, hell yeah.
I actually met Vlad. Like, I was telling them I actually met Vlad 2012. He asked me to do an interview before a Floyd Mayweather celebrity game.
Really?
And I turned it down because it was either I would get to warm up for the game or do that interview. So I asked him if we could do it after, and then I lost track. It was too chaotic after the game.
Wow.
But that's how I found out about you from watching Vlad. So that's
Serendipity right there. It was meant to be.
Yeah, humble coming from you. You guys hustle.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The one thing that stands out to me about your channel is just the fact that still, after all these years, your channel still does such good views, and you haven't really like switched the formula up. That like you do a lot of different stuff, but it's like I'm just so used to seeing channels that are based around a specific skill or niche kind of like level off or drop off in views at a certain point. But I really think it's pretty awesome that your fan base is still so excited to see you just go out there and kill it.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I think you're right. It's still highlight driven basketball, and we've tried actually a lot of stuff, but the ones that are the bangers that most people see, they are kind of similar. But I still try to like evolve over time, whether it's higher production. I've got like a friend of mine, he's an award-winning reality TV producer, director, cinematographer. So he does one video a month for me now.
Oh, okay.
And then like just dressing it up. Like I said, it's funny, you had this Joker costume. Like I dropped one this morning that was a little different. Like I actually like went on a date. And then in that date, it was with a chick who played ball. So like we went and got costumes for Halloween, you know what I'm saying? Then we wore them and then we went and hooped at Venice. So that's like a little bit different.
Yeah.
Or like I recently did like a Space Jam, you know? So I dress up my highlight driven basketball in different ways. But one thing I did learn over time is that if you're breaking ankles or you're like really putting on an impressive show with basketball, that's going to be hot as long as basketball is hot.
Right.
So that's, you know.
But do you feel like you've seen like basketball from my perspective as somebody who's not super knowledgeable about basketball? It seems like basketball has just always been huge. Have you see the ups and downs and sort of the interest over time?
Basketball's at an all-time high popularity-wise, but the NBA just did an incredible job the last like 10, 15 years especially. Like, of course, it's always been popular, right? I mean, we can go back to Dr. J and it was still cool, but like, I feel like in the 90s, with Jordan, it really blew it out the water, and then even today, it's like next level to the point where you even got people, influencers who are like basketball comedians. Right. You know what I mean? They're making a living off emulating being funny and emulating NBA players. So that's like an actual job. So I think it just continually has gone up. I don't know that it's ever like dipped. Right. I just know for me, what's vital for mine is putting on an epic performance, whatever I do, but then also trying to come up with like new moves and like, I actually play totally different than I did when I was on the N1 mixtape tour. Like try to get better. Like, I'm getting near 40, but I'm still trying to get better. You know what I mean? Okay,
so let's go all the way back to a very young professor. Okay. Where exactly were you born, and where did you spend your formative years? Tell me a little bit about that time.
I'm from a small town, Kaiser, Oregon. It's like an hour south of Portland.
Okay.
And suburbs. I just played every second of my childhood was basketball.
Really?
My parents.
Basketball family. Your dad was just obsessed with it.
Yes, exactly. He wasn't a college or a pro level player himself, but he was obsessed with the game. And then he put a basketball in my hands like 2 years old. Right. I got footage myself at 2.
Wow.
And his passion for the game wore off on me like right away. You know, by 4th grade, I was trying to make the NBA. Wow. So, but I had no social life. It's just straight basketball, straight AAU, straight a driveway. We at the gym. As I got older, we go to the hood and hoop, you know. So,
But you were just practicing like all the time. You were that driven to be great.
Yeah, my dad was my biggest idol, Michael Jordan, and then Allen Iverson. And once Allen Iverson became my favorite player, it was like 4th or 5th grade. They hired me a personal trainer, and this was like now everybody got a basketball trainer, right? If you're a parent, you're trying to get your kid individual training. That's a huge thing. But back then, I had this trainer. He was like real innovative. He just was doing it by himself. And he showed me the Iverson crossover when I was like in 4th grade. Okay. And that was the first move. That's why I realized I had a gift. I picked it up in like 1 week. Really? But I was crossing grown men at 4th grade. And honestly, I've always looked really young for my age. So, you know, when I'm fourth grade, I'm as tall as this table right here, but I could cross like grown men. So that put me on the map for like having handles.
That's dope. So you were getting a fair amount of popularity in school and stuff because people just knew that you were talented in this regard, or?
Yeah. I was actually like really antisocial, but I was popular just because I was good at basketball.
Right.
Yes. But I didn't have like an elite run though through school.
Okay.
Because I looked so young, I didn't get the opportunities.
Right, because you're like, when I'm watching you in the N1 League stuff, like you're much smaller, but then you're doing crazy technical shit. Like, was that always something that you worked on a lot because you knew that you weren't going to be able to necessarily, dominate based on like strength and size and stuff? So you just got better at the handling side of things?
100%. Always been a super finesse player because, yeah, like you said, size and strength is so big in basketball. You know what I mean? Like, some people will tell you, size doesn't matter, right? That's a saying, right? I love that. Some people tell me, you prove size doesn't matter. And my response is like, well, it matters.
Size doesn't matter if everybody's the same size.
Yes.
Then it doesn't matter.
Size and strength super matters.
Right.
But
even in the things where
smaller,
it's not supposed to matter, because I was into jujitsu forever, and jujitsu is supposed to be like the thing that it doesn't matter. Like, a little girl could choke out a grown man.
Yeah.
In reality, these guys are all fucking giant, muscular dudes, the ones who excel, because size does have a big effect. Yeah.
It's everything. Like, it's so much everything. It's almost to where, like, you know, if I was 2 inches taller and weighed 20 pounds more, I would have been in the NBA for sure.
Right.
Like that. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot, you know?
Sure.
Going back to it, yeah, I say the smaller you are, definitely the more skilled you have to be.
Right.
But I just did it because I was copying my favorite player, Allen Iverson, with the crossover. I shot floaters. I never really I could never shoulder nobody to the rack, you know? So I would shoot. My mid-range was like a layup.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 15 feet and in, automatic, and I was a good shooter too. But my main goal was I was trying to make the NBA, you know?
Right.
Like every kid's dream.
But so high school, you didn't really have an epic run, but then where do you go to college, or what happens after that?
So high school, I mean, okay, let me take it back. I was always a starter on every team. And then as I got older, I'm such a late bloomer. Like, you know, I still look like I was 8 years old when I'm in high school. So I got held back on the JV team when I was a junior.
Okay.
It was a big hit to my pride because all I played was basketball. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what I'm known for. But I didn't even make the varsity team as a junior. So stayed down. And then I had a great season, scored a lot or whatever. But I transferred to this small Christian school just for a better opportunity. My parents put me there for a better opportunity to play college ball. So I got second team All-State. I was one vote away from MVP. Crazy high. I wish Hoop Mixtape and Ball's Life was been back then, because I might have got a scholarship just off that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now they'll give you a scholarship off potential. If you go crazy on a mixtape and you're like, yo, this is lit, like, you might get a scholarship like that.
Right, because it's just they understand how valuable a really good player is, that everybody's in serious competition now.
Yeah, high skill is more valued, and potential. You can get a scholarship off potential. Before, it used to be like you had to be that dude.
Sounds
Now,
like the music industry, where they used to sign artists who like clearly could make hits.
Yeah.
Now it's like they'll sign you because you look like, you seem like you have a little bit of
like a
talent.
star.
You seem like you might be able to be worth $100 million one day, even if you're presently worth zero. Yeah.
See, I didn't even know that to be the truth. But
Oh,
yes,
yeah. These
it's
record
like that
labels
in
are shady,
basketball
yeah.
for sure. So basically, I had this really good run. But I live in a small town. The school I graduated from only like 300 kids in the whole school.
Oh, wow.
And I'm a kid. I'm sheltered. I don't know how it works. You know what I mean? So I didn't get no college letters, no nothing. I went and tried out for 3 community colleges. But again, even 18 years old, I look like I was 12.
Right.
So I would go out there. I remember one tryout for a community college. I don't think I missed a shot. I might have missed one shot on the day, and we won like 5 games straight. And I'm like, we're only going to like 7 or 11 or something like that. I'm scoring like more than half the buckets.
Right.
I still got cut. The coach was like, we don't think he'll match up here. So what happened was, my dad, he owned a jewelry. We have like a family jewelry business in my small hometown. And the head coach from the local community college, he would go there and like buy his jewelry for his lady or whatever. And I didn't want to go to that school because I wanted to get out and go away from home. But my dad persuaded him to like give me a shot. He's like, hey, my son's passionate about the game. Like, can you give him a look? You know what I mean?
Right.
And this guy was cool enough to like let me go up there and try out, and I would kill it on offense, but I couldn't guard anybody. Like, we had 7-footers, people going D1 and all that, and I was shied away from contact. You know what I mean? People drove. I was like, I didn't want no parts of that. So nobody could really trust me on the defensive side of things.
Okay.
So he lets me redshirt. Then a bunch of guards got injured. So next thing I know, I suit up. I played about 2-3 minutes a game. If the game was close, I didn't even get in there. But then after that freshman year, I improved like 300%. Like I didn't even know, I had to know in retrospect, like how much I actually improved. Like I literally went from bench player to D1 prospect in like a few months.
What would you credit that to? Like what, was it just pure sweat of just being in the gym, working your ass off?
A few things. Yeah, that's part of it. One, just love of the game. That's still the only thing I went back to. Any setbacks I had, I didn't know nothing else, so I still would go to the gym the next day. It's what I love to do. And in street ball, I'd always kill it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knew me for playing in like pickup and street ball stuff.
It's funny. Even when you were young, you had a passion for doing that. It was the actual part of your life.
That was my only thing. Yeah. So, but also I had an incredible coach. This guy by the name of David Averhalden.
Okay.
He's still the coach at the community college, Shemeketa Community College.
Okay.
But he had me hit the weights for the first time consistently. Make 1,000 jumpers at 5 a.m. before class. Open gym is at 2:30. So literally 5 a.m. we're making 1,000 jumpers. 2:30's open gym.
Making, not 1,000 shots.
Make 1,000. Make 1,000. Even some other stuff. Like we had like a 2.5 hour workout.
Wow.
Then, but I loved it. I was like, cool. That's what's so funny. Then open gym was at 2:30. And then I would go hit the weights, and then afterwards I would come back and still work on my game.
Right.
And so I did that for like 3 months straight. And I think also, you know how people are late bloomers. I matured really late. So at some point being physical and stuff just clicked. Like it was no problem.
Right.
As soon as that clicked, I never even lost at the open gyms. We had guys going D1 and D2. People would come in with their prospect. They'd bring their D1 prospects. I was mopping them up. They'd be like, oh, who's this kid? And my coaches were like, oh, we don't really know. You know what I mean? They didn't have answers. But it was right at that moment that And One was going crazy.
Right.
And so the mixtape tour was like the biggest thing in basketball, rivaling the NBA at that time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not outdoing it, but, you know,
but it was
NBA
super popular,
is the GOAT of all basketball. It was like taking some of the business. I remember I read one time that And One actually took 15% of the basketball market from Nike, Adidas, and Reebok.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
I remember this like vaguely at the time, but yeah, I didn't realize it was that significant. Holy shit.
yeah, you remember that Nike Freestyle commercial with like the dudes they was like in a black room and they're freestyle, they're passing it out of the screen to the next dude.
Okay.
So that phenomenon came about, but Nike did that kind of like to compete with And One because street ball was like on high. So all the companies made their own version of street ball.
So you left college to go play in the N1 League?
Yeah, so I actually went as a fan.
Oh.
I was just a fan. You know, Hot Sauce, AO, Skip to My Lou, Main Event, Headache, Street Ball Legends. Shout out to my big bros. They were my idols just as much.
You seen this documentary on Netflix that just came out with him in it?
With who?
With the Headache guy?
Oh, no, I didn't see it. What is it?
It's called Bad Sport.
Oh, I got to check it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I got to check it.
It was pretty, yeah. We won't go into it.
Okay, I'm supposed to call him today, actually. That's funny you say that. But anyway, yeah, those are as much my idols as Allen Iverson and Michael Jordan, like literally. So I go up to just go as a fan to watch it, and then they were having these tryouts before the game, and I was like, I said, anybody can play? Like, so I tried out with nothing to lose, and I was like culturing And One at that time. I had And One shoes, like I wore that to school, you know?
Right.
And I got in there and crossed up a couple people, and people were losing their minds, you know what I mean? So,
right.
So next thing we know, the players are picking who should go in that night from that tryout to play against Team And One. So next thing I know, they pick me to go in the building. I'm going at it with my idol, Hot Sauce. Like literally, it's like a movie.
Dream come true.
I mean, I couldn't even believe it, you know what I mean? But the crowd was loving it because like I didn't back down, you know what I'm saying? We were going back at it, even though he was crossing me up.
Right.
And then it just so happened that that year, you know, they're trying to find new talent. And that's what the TV show was actually about, unbeknownst to me at that time.
Oh, okay.
So they're like, you want to go on tour with us after that night? And I was like, I mean, yeah, like, what?
Wow.
I'm like, did I hear that right?
Was it hard to blow off all your obligations in your actual life at that moment?
Well, I had no life. I just so it made it easy.
Right.
Just played basketball. But no, I was blown away. I called my parents. They're like, yeah, do it. My parents are always super supportive. So I went on tour, and I'm thinking, this is so funny. I'm thinking when the ESPN episode debuts, like I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks behind real life, right? So in 2 or 3 weeks when it was supposed to come out on ESPN, I was hoping that I could pause it, or maybe like they'll show one of my buckets that I got. But then I found out the show was about the new talent. Like I was the star of the show, and I didn't even know it
till it aired.
They didn't even. They might have told me, but I was so young-minded. I might have been too caught, like didn't hear it. You know what I mean?
Holy shit!
So I remember watching. We were in Jackson, Mississippi. And we were about to play a game out there, and I remember the show came on like at 3 o'clock or whatever. So I'm checking it out with the dude who was my roommate at the time. And I was just like nervous, you know what I mean? Like see myself knowing millions of people are watching on ESPN. And the whole theme of that show was modeled after Survivor. Remember that reality TV show this is when reality TV just got going.
And they're like, we're going to try reality TV for everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they did it for And One, and it was basically like this summer-long process of elimination. They're trying to get one dude to win a contract with And One. And so I ended up making it all through the summer. And then, one of the last games, I hit a game when he shot. We beat Team And One in Madison Square Garden.
Right. I think I've seen this in the highlight reel.
Yeah, and then eventually the last game was like in the hood in Linden, New Jersey.
Wow.
Shout out to Big Bro Main Event. It was his hood or whatever. And I ended up winning a contract. And then so I wasn't going anywhere with college, so my parents were like, yeah, let's do it, because we thought And One was going to be like a Globetrotters.
What did the contract look like financially for you at that time?
I think my first one was $60K.
Okay.
60 or 70K.
So
yeah.
And One is kind of a working class type of league at this time. Like it's the guys aren't getting rich, but the culture of it was very.
I did a few years in.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it was season 2. Mind you, none of these dudes have made 6 figures. So like this was like their first dose of probably making 6 figures. I know I had the small contract first time. Like Hot Sauce was the headliner.
Okay.
Skip was already in the NBA. Main event, they probably had some bigger deals. They probably had 6-figure deals at that time.
Right.
But I was just happy because all my work, it's like that whole preparation meets opportunity, success can be had. So I feel like that moment had happened for me. So I just feel like living the dream.
Because you seem like you have such a good attitude about all this, but at the time, was it nerve-wracking, and were you at times maybe even depressed, like thinking that like you've been obsessed with this thing for all these years, and maybe it's just not going to turn into anything? I mean, there must have been hard times.
It was like there was a lot, yeah. Like getting cut from the varsity team was like broke my heart, worse than heartbreak from a girlfriend. You know what I mean? That was like my everything, and then not being able to play college ball, and but it was funny too, because I look back on it, and really what I was a victim was that like Oregon plays like white people basketball, right? It's like 4-man and Princeton offense, and we're gonna outsmart the team. But I was playing like how they play in the league. You know what I mean? I was playing like street ball, and like my coaches didn't trust me enough to like let me be the man and like cross people up until I was like on that one school my senior year.
Right.
And then going into college, I just didn't look the part. So that it's hard. Sometimes just passing the eye test goes a long way. Even like in college recruits. Like my brother's a college coach, you know what I'm saying? And he always says that. He's like, does it pass the eye test? Like that weighs in a lot if you just look the part.
Yeah.
So I looked opposite the part.
Right.
So yeah.
Do you feel like that was ultimately a negative for you at that time? Like that, like it is the very rare situation where being like a white guy is going to be kind of to your detriment, that people are going to discount you. Do you feel like it put more attention on you, or do you think that it kind of hurt you because people just automatically assumed you weren't going to be good?
It helped me because I could play an underdog on the court and I could surprise people how good I was, but it didn't help me as far as them giving me opportunity to play at different levels. So it was like both, but it's funny because it made me how good I am today. It made me work harder, always being the underdog. It was kind of like Eminem, right? He was in Detroit doing his thing, but like Detroit didn't receive him like the rest of the world.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you always kind of wonder, like, what would Eminem's career have been if he was like a normal looking black dude who happened to be that good at rapping? What would that career look like? I don't know. I think he probably would have been pretty successful regardless, but it definitely wouldn't have looked like it actually did.
100%. Yeah, so it was weird. It was like you said, it was to my detriment to be a small white dude that didn't look the part. And then when I got on And One and I was pitted as an underdog that succeeded, people loved it. And so then it was like to my advantage with business and everything. So it was both sides of the coin.
Right. So how long were you doing the And One League for? And when did it eventually end?
I signed my deal. I tried out the summer of 2003.
Okay.
And then our actual endorsement deals ended in 2008.
Okay.
The company got bought out. Owners knew nothing about basketball.
It
was an elderly couple that actually lived in Orange County.
Why the fuck did they buy it?
Because on the numbers, And One was bananas. You know what I'm saying? We were cover Sports Illustrated. They were starting to really get into Foot Locker heavy, like threatening Nike, and you know what I mean? Like it was literally going nuts. I think 70 to 80% of the NBA was actually wearing And One. at the time. And they only have like one or two, like, 7-figure endorsement athletes. Like KG was one, Stephon Marbury, Skip, obviously. But outside of that, a lot of just the regular NBA players were rocking it. And it was all because of the mixtapes and the street ball, even though nobody really talked about it. It was just the unspoken thing.
Right.
So, 2008, they don't even call us. They hired a whole new head of branding. They got some dudes from Adidas who were not really into street ball. They were OGs. They were in like their 50s. They like Dr. J and like they knew NBA. That's what they did. Like one dude I remember he was telling me made a shoe for Shaq and all that. So they respected NBA. They respect street ball.
But they thought that they knew better than everybody who was already involved.
Yeah, I remember they told me, they said, hey, and one's a tree. The mixtape tour is just a branch, just a little limb out here. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot going on. And in my mind, I was like, that don't sound right. Now looking back, I can be like, it's retarded. You know what I mean? Like it built the brand. You know what I'm saying? And one mixtapes built that whole movement. That's why the TV show happened. That's why the brand went to new levels.
Wow.
So the original owners, though, I respect them, though. They started at 93 passing out T-shirts out of the back of their car at the Rucker,
right,
or in New York, and then sold it 05 or 06, whenever that was. But they had 2 more years in the ESPN deal, so they did it to 08.
Okay.
But they sold it for like, 50 to 100 million or something like that. So I don't blame them, right? And then basically that ended, and I started my YouTube channel. I went broke. I remember I had just under $200 in my account. I was living out here in West LA.
Around the time that the M1 thing ended.
Completely broke. I probably blew $3 to $5 million my whole M1 run.
You were going crazy financially, or was it more just like actual normal expenses?
Yeah, I mean, I had a Benz. I lived in a 4-story condo, and like my bill spend was probably like 10 to 15K a month. Like, I don't know why. I was just being a kid, you know what I mean? Like,
having fun.
We thought M1 was like the Globetrotters, though. I didn't think it was never ever going to end. And in theory, it could have went for a really long time,
right, if
the right people were behind it, like understanding its max potential. But it didn't. They didn't even brand in Hollywood. That's the funny part. Like, they didn't have no PR. We like weren't repped by any agency.
Right.
Like, we individually were exclusives to them. They did all our marketing. Like, I look back at it now, people are like, what would you do different? I'd be like, be on Leno and
it sounds horribly mismanaged. Like, in retrospect now, it kind of makes sense to me, like, why And One was in the peripheral of the culture for so long, or was like around for so long. But then like, I mean, I remember even a couple of years ago we were at a convention talking to some guy who was like a rep from And One, and it just, it's like they have no fucking clue why they exist anymore, from what I could tell.
Yeah, well, I do know a couple people up there nowadays. It's been bought like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's been reacquired 3 or 4 times, and now the company that owns it, they know it's built off street ball, but they're in Walmart, so they're smashing it.
Right, okay.
They're Walmart's main sports brand with Shaq.
Wow.
But really, it's And1. Like, Shaq just had a few shoes up there.
Okay.
So they crush it, but as far as like marketing, like, they have like a small IG. They don't really like. It's more of a legacy brand. You know what I mean? So
you were partying. Like, what was your lifestyle like at that time? Like, we were
wild.
You're having a good time.
Rock star. And one had 6 tour buses. Right. Like, one was for production, 2 or 3 player buses, PR and all that. And I mean, partying, chicks. All that was probably, like, at one point, I think the priority might have been a little out of order. Like, that was probably a higher priority than basketball. Right. Or at least I can say for myself and probably a few of the teammates or everybody. I don't know. I don't want to speak for them. But it was some great times. I learned a lot from it.
And so then you go broke.
Dead broke.
And then what? What do you do? The YouTube channel was your big idea?
Here's what's funny. So I started the YouTube because And1 was in 40 countries. Okay. So they licensed it out, right? Mm-hmm. When we would tour, like, we went all over the world, but we would only go to those entities that had And1 stores. So I knew that they were still out there, and those people still wanted to get a hold of us. So I knew a dude in Brazil, like, we did an And1 Brazil game, and the head of And1 Brazil was like, yo, like, everybody wants you to go all these places. They don't know how to get a hold of you because we're used to going through the company as people aren't there anymore. And so I was like, all right, give him my number, you know what I mean? But then I also knew that YouTube at that time, I think it was in like 20 countries or something like that, maybe 30. Okay. Way bigger now. But like, I started my channel because there was a bunch of professor highlight mixes that fans made. They ripped my highlights from the show and put them up. They're getting millions of views. So I'm like, dang, I might as well like try to flood this, let people know I'm out here. Right. But I did it on my homie's channel. I didn't know how it worked, right? I was just trying to like flood YouTube because at that time, so unsaturated, right? Like
And
you literally
nobody had any idea that this was like a place where you're trying to build a home for yourself. It's like, it's crazy to think back on that, because it's like the idea that putting your time and money into YouTube seemed crazy at that time. We're talking what, 2008, 2009, you said?
I was on there, up until 2008. Yeah. So I tried to flood YouTube, but then Google AdSense came into play the next year, 2009. And one of the dudes who had put out a lot of the street ball mixes, he lived in San Diego. Back in that day, you could send a DM on YouTube. So I DM'd him. We started talking. He was a big fan or whatever. And I drove to his place. He made my first 3 edits for my YouTube channel. I think I paid him like a G or something like that. And then he showed me how to edit. So I edited all my videos at least until like 2015, 2016.
Really?
And I still do some a little bit now. But at that time, what I did to make ends meet, this is what's so funny, is I actually kept a box, and I had like 50 to 100 of my And1 jerseys. I sold them on eBay. They're going from $500 to $1,000. I sold them
one by one, and you spread it out
anonymously.
So you wouldn't fuck the market up.
Made about $30K.
Wow.
Anonymously. It's funny too, because like they're going everywhere. This is what showed me that the YouTube was still a good thing, and this is how I knew this was hot. It wasn't the market that rejected us. It was that they just took it off the air. You know what I mean? Because everything was unsaid. We didn't really know what happened. Right. We don't know. Was it an audience thing? What was it? So I knew it was marketable because like people were buying it in my neighborhood. Dude bought one for like $2,500.
Wow.
And then it'd be China, Japan. These things are like going. They're like hotcakes, right?
Yeah.
So I lived off that for a few months, and then I started getting booked for those one-off gigs. I do like, And1 Brazil, And1 Africa. I do these one-off games all over the world.
How much do you get paid, and what do you actually do when you show up?
I just go there. We might go to like a couple like schools, or go to like, do a little bit of promotion, or like play some kids or whatever, just get people hyped. And then the day of the game, we'll play like a pro team or something, and then just do our thing. We're definitely trying to win. We're trying to entertain, just like I do now.
Right.
And so I think at that time, I would make between like $2 to $5K per game.
Okay.
But they'd be few and far in between. Like I had hard times from the end of 2008 until 2011.
Okay.
So so I start the YouTube. It gets a little traction, but I wasn't thinking about being a YouTuber. It's just like whenever I got footage from the game, I'd chop it up myself, have fun with it, and I upload it.
Right.
But I was getting like, 100K, 50K. I think my biggest video was like $500,000 at that time or something.
So the appearances were still making way more than you were making from AdSense?
Yes.
Right.
So then this company called Ball Up tried to do a revamp of And1. It wasn't successful. That's nothing compared to And1.
Tried to bring the whole league back and everything, or just the brand?
They tried to. So And1 actually was never a league. And1 was one team that would go around the world and play people, and it was hard to duplicate because that group, like now I can look back and say like that group was elite. You know what I mean? Because what it was like the best of all the summer leagues. So it'd be like today, the best of the Drew League,
right?
The best of Rucker. It was like all of those, and then I was just like somebody who tried out and play with them. But we were beasts though. We would beat pro teams and put on an incredible show. And then like if NBA players play with it, it'd be seamless. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it was high level. Nowadays, the popular hoopers on YouTube, they're like junior college or like college level.
Right.
And there's a special talent, but dudes were always like one thing away from the NBA, like maybe you're not coachable, maybe in between position, you're like a tweener, like are you a 1 or a 2?
Right.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So it was beast, but so Ball Up gets recreated. Or And1 tries to get recreated. It's called Ball Up or whatever. We had a show on Fox Sports, and like it was okay, but I think everything was becoming digital, and I think that movement didn't really grasp onto like digital marketing as much.
Right.
But I was still doing my YouTube, and so a homie of mine came to me in 2013, and he's like, you got like 17K subs, like you're doing good out here, like you should take this to the next level, like you're not trying to go viral. And at that time, I'm young. I'm like, oh, you think I could go viral? Like I didn't think somebody outside the NBA could really do millions of numbers at that time. So just because it hadn't been done,
The whole influencer the whole idea of being an influencer just really did not exist yet at that time, and it was just starting to become a thing, a rational career path. Yeah, because if you had known that in 2008, it would have been like the career path for you. You would have been able to like
go crazy.
If you knew everything in 2008 that you know now about how to basically be somebody who's famous for doing something and then make merch, make more content, do deals, all this shit. It's like the career path now seems very obvious, and back then was totally foreign.
Back then, 50 million subs today. Like if you like, right? You'd say the same thing, right? If you
knew. Yeah. If I had known to like how to be like, you know, Casey Neistat or David Dobrik or whatever, like just to be a vlogger, you know, like they kind of like dudes like that sort of showed everybody the game in a lot of ways, you know. Now it seems clear. Yeah.
Those two dudes especially, Logan Paul and all them. Like
Casey Neistat is probably one of the biggest influences for almost anybody who makes like good quality vlog type content, you know.
It does a great job.
He showed us how it could be done, because before that, everybody who made a vlog, it was just sort of like, hey, how y'all doing? What's up?
Yeah, like a lot of dead time and stuff. I know.
Bad angles, shaky ass footage and shit. Yeah. You know, he kind of showed everybody what was possible. Yeah.
Totally.
So, okay, so then you start to actually treat it more like something you were really putting effort into, or how do you go about trying to turn the YouTube channel up?
So it was in stages. So 2013, my homie comes to me, he's like, man, a couple of these videos been going off. You got 500,000 right here. Like, he's like, I think you can do something viral. And he was real into cosplay. Shout out to my homie Rob Monroe. He was really into cosplay. And so we looked at like the top viral videos from 2011 and 2012. And a lot of it was like pranks or accidents or whatever, but a couple more like cosplay. And so he was like, he's like, you know, it'd be trippy. He said, if you wore a superhero outfit and you went and played people one-on-one at the park,
right,
and you didn't show them it was you, and it was sort of like a prank. So look, we chose Spider-Man because Spider-Man, you wear the suit, you can't tell who it is.
Okay, I had no idea that the Spider-Man stuff was the first thing that really blew up.
First banger. So we did Spider-Man basketball. We decided to do it. I was like, oh, that'd be funny. Like he's like, I think it'll go viral. And I was like, all right. I was like, it'd be funny either way. Like I'm not thinking anything of it. I thought it might do a few 100K views, right? One of my better, more funny videos. So I couldn't even find a real Spider-Man costume at that time. Like now it's easy to find a cosplay, right, that fits. But like back then, all costumes are baggy and there's very few of them. So there was one company that sold a size medium Spider-Man. It was like in the UK.
Wow.
So I ordered it. It was like $500 or something. I got it. I put that thing on, it fit like a glove. I was like, yo, this is like made for like literally looked like it was tailored for me.
Side note, do you know about Spider-Cuz?
Sound familiar? Who's that?
It's like a gangster rapper from New York who wears a Spider-Man costume, and he drinks Henny and carries a blue bandana and all this shit. Yeah.
You know what's funny? I think I found out about dude from the show. If I'm not mistaken.
We've definitely discussed him on here. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe my cousin.
Shout out to Spider-Cuz. I don't know what he's doing right now, but he's a cool guy. She just gangbanged on me. Okay,
you just got banged on.
Jesus Christ.
So I ordered the suit. It's like it was meant to be, bro. I ordered it. Fit me like a glove. Like it was crazy. And I looked like aesthetically on screen, I look exactly like the character. You know what I mean? Right. So we go to a park. We don't even know how to do it at the time. I'm like, yo, you go first. You know what I'm saying? Act like you hooping, and I'll just come up, get in the game, and just bust out the camera. So we did it. Everything was flawless. I don't even know if I missed a shot. I played for like 30, 40 minutes. Not that the comp was super high level, but the fact that every move worked flawlessly, I didn't miss no shot. I couldn't even see, though. You know what I mean? I couldn't even shoot a three-pointer.
It was really hard to see out of that?
A lot of the shots were just shooting in that general area. It was just, you know what I mean? It was just meant to be. So we literally shot only for like 25 minutes.
Wow.
But I could have made 4 videos from the footage. And then we left. And I almost passed out, you know, thing made me nauseous just because I couldn't breathe, couldn't see, couldn't do this, claustrophobia. I go back that night and I chopped the vid. I edited myself. It took like 3 hours, something like that. But I had a flight to Chicago in the morning. I'm still on tour. And so I uploaded. I didn't know how to compress footage back then. So I uploaded from the DSLR, like this Canon camera, and it's going to take 6 hours to upload on YouTube. So this is like midnight. My eyes are bloodshot. I'm like, oh, man. You know, so I just left the computer on. It's uploading. I go to sleep. Woke up in the morning, still uploading. So I'm like, dang. So I said, F it. I'm just going to leave it overnight. You know what I'm saying? So I just went to LAX. By the time I got to LAX, the thing already had like 300,000 views. And I was like, is this right? Like I called my homie. I said, does it say 300K? Because back then it sent you like the email update of your videos.
Oh, okay.
So then by the time I got to Chicago, I had 1 million views. And then and I think in the week it did 6 or 7 million. But you know, back then the algorithm friendly now.
Yeah.
Back then, 6, 7 million in a week. That's like a viral shutdown.
Show, yeah,
you know what I mean? I got hit up by Good Morning America, CNN, Sports Center, anybody you can think of.
Right.
And got 1 million subs in 1 week.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so it's like a business overnight.
Wow, that must have really like opened your fucking eyes all of a sudden in a hurry to like what was possible on the platform.
100%. And the hard thing was I couldn't really actually be a true YouTuber until about 2015, 2016 because Ball Up kind of died out, but it took a while. So I was on their schedule, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it was kind of our contract was like the old format where they do all the marketing and all that, and I kind of have to corroborate. But at the same time, I was thankful because I was broke and like at least I had a steady paycheck. Now we get some YouTube money. I got 2 streams in, you know? So I was like, let's get it.
Holy shit. So what kind of content did you go with after that? Like, did you sort of have like a vlog style format going after that, or what kind of things did you try? I
got into vlog style format maybe like not till 2015, 2016.
Okay.
Like if I wanted, the way I always want to do is just basketball content and just highlights always. Like I'm such a b-ball enthusiast. I thought that would be hot, not knowing that like there's so much more to branding, right? You do lifestyle, you do everything. So, but one thing I did know is like people really subscribe to me for basketball. So I got like a second channel. It's like 100K subs or something like that where I just do whatever.
Okay.
But I ain't touched that in like 3 years. But my main channel, I try to do like hybrid videos where it's like a little bit of a vlog, you know, and then we go play ball, or it's like a straight cosplay. Like I did a Bugs Bunny Space Jam.
Well, I seen you did the nerd the other day.
The nerd,
yeah. And I was like, this is amazing because I'm looking at the Spider-Man one, and then I'm looking at the nerd one. It's like 10 years apart, and they're like both the same exact concept, and it just works. Like people just love this fucking concept. And Bugs Bunny, I didn't see that one, but
thank you, man, thank you. And you know what I learned is like. It has to be a good. We did some spoofy character and it didn't work, but it was like the costume wasn't lit. You know, like one thing I did learn is if you're gonna do a cosplay video, you need something that looks exactly like that character. The more you can look like that character, the better it's gonna be. The more Walmart it is, the less dope it'll be. So I learned that, but also the nerd had already worked. Funny story. That nerd trend has been going on since like 2018, 2017.
Oh, okay. So you weren't the first one to do it? Or?
I was.
Oh, you were.
but I did it on Vine.
Right.
Vine and Instagram. I think I did a 6-second version. I did a 15 for Instagram. Remember 15 seconds is the limit for videos. So I did Nerd in the Hood. It was just like a quick skit where I was somewhere in Long Beach and like had these 2 dudes in a do-rag. And I was like, hey, can I partake in some basketball activity? Right. And some kid took the idea and did it on YouTube, and he got like 60 or 70 million views. And he wasn't even a good player. He just like it was more about acting, right? He's like, I'm here to play ball in the hood, and it wasn't even the hood, right? It was like just like it was kind of racist, like just some black people were there, so therefore he called it the hood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I could imagine that like if you were to pick and choose your shots, you would be able to sort of make yourself look like you were good at basketball, even if you weren't. I guess.
It was
to the untrained eye. Yeah,
I can't remember how it went. I think it was like a highlight video or something like that. But he wasn't bad. He just wasn't like amazing, right?
Okay.
So it went crazy, and then a lot of influencers did it over the years, and then I was just like, I was curious, like if you hop on a trend late, can you still go crazy if it's a good video? And what I learned is, yeah, you can, as long as it's good. So. Right. We might do some more. You know what I mean?
Especially if you improve upon the concept. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to make mine different. I left the backpack on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I played it up a little bit more.
My girl was watching one of your videos with me yesterday where like a random guy on a bike just sort of challenges you to a game. You wipe the floor with him real quick. I don't even think he scored a single point. And she was like very doubtful. She's like, this isn't real. There's no way this guy's just talking shit. I'm like,
oh, I love that.
I'm like, you think that there's really like that big a shortage of random dudes on the street? Like this guy's been making videos for 10 years. I'm sure he's dealt with plenty of hecklers who wanted to play him. You know, like do you ever fake anything or like what's your line on that?
We never. The only thing we've ever done, just keeping it real. So all my videos are real, 100%. And people say that all the time. They're like, oh, this is fake. You know what I mean? But they don't know, like, basketball is the most egotistical sport, period. Yeah. There's probably a high school up the street from here. I go, whenever that high school team I practice, me and you could go up there right now, and somebody would think they could bust my ass, like, on the high school team.
Right.
That's just how it is. So
and these days, even if they don't think they could beat your ass, they still know there's some value in getting to
troll.
Take you on. Yeah.
Now they troll. They just want to be in the video. But my biggest video on YouTube ever has over 70 million views, and it might be the one you're talking about. I'm not sure. I was at Laguna Beach, and this dude was like talking crazy. Like he just had like a real problem with everything I was doing.
Really big guy, right?
Yeah, heavy set.
Yeah.
And we finally got into a game, and I don't know, we were only playing like 5 or something like that. So I did a move, he like fell, slapped the floor hard. I didn't even touch him, right?
Yeah.
No contact ankle breaker is like A1, because most of them have contact.
Right.
So this dude goes down hard after talking crazy, right? All I had, our cameras died. We were out there for like 4 or 5 hours. We ran this on just 2 iPhone 7s.
Oh, okay.
But I like layered the audio on both sides. And
this guy's good with the technical stuff right there.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell that means, but it sounds like it makes sense. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm an editor. I'm a nerd. I'm a tech nerd. I love this setup. That's why I'm like, man, this is lit.
Yeah,
But
they're in charge of that. I don't know what the hell it is. Yeah.
I know. But hey, well, so what happened was he falls really hard, and then like 2 plays later, I did a move, and he tried to like reach, but he threw his, like I crossed him, and he threw his shoulder out.
Oh wow.
And so the game just ended like that. But a lot of people were saying that video was fake. And I was like, hey, you're right. We couldn't have wrote a better script than that. Like, it was nuts.
And that's what I'm telling my girl, too. I'm like, if they wanted to fake it, they probably would have got
Some people are doing it.
They would get somebody more entertaining than this guy. This guy is just kind of, it's not like he's like hilarious or anything. If they were going to fake it, I would think that they would fake it a little better.
Yeah. And some people are, I guess now it's coming out, like some people are faking the trash talker. That was the first trash talker video.
Right.
Now everything is verse trash talker, but like, I didn't know what to call him when I was doing it. I was like, what was he? I guess he was talking trash talker. I don't know if that's a thing. Everything with that video was like an accident, but it taught me a lot because one of the biggest complaints was like, oh, you don't play top level competition. Even though like I do, I play everybody, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
like people, they see 1 or 2 videos, they want to like judge your whole career or whatever. So I wanted to make it clear why I was playing some heavy set dude in running shoes. You know what I mean? So I made a little story around it that like led to the game. And then played the game, but I kept getting everybody's thoughts. We got like my reaction, the people's reaction.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, when I uploaded, I just took the screen grabber when he fell. And I was like, let me just zoom in on it. Let me make this like an album cover right now. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Let's just try it. So with that video, I just did everything right, though. Look, it was a lit intro. You know what I mean? It was like vlog style. It told a story. It had like beautiful aesthetic. It told a story that led to the game. The game was hilarious and awesome. And then it ended, I gave my sentiment, my thought. Some other people did too. And then a perfect thumbnail and a perfect title.
Yeah.
And I actually did it on accident, for real. But then it kind of like taught me like, oh, this is the way.
Right.
And so now people have taken some of that format. I think some people make fake stuff, but we never have to. Like we go out trying to shoot a different video,
Right.
but then like somehow a real trash talking situation happens, and I'll tell. He's like my head of content, my homie Zach right here.
Do you think that kind of content appeals to people way more than you playing high level competition? Like if you were to go face off with just somebody who's about as good as you, or somebody who's like really, really good competition, is that less interesting to the people?
Well, if I play like an NBA player or something, it would like break the internet probably, but it never happens.
Why does that never happen?
Well, because most NBA players don't want their workouts like on film. Like we're in the viral era, right? NBA players don't even go hard in an all-star game because like you could go viral, you slip up and fall or whatever. And I've never been the player that says like I should be in the NBA. You know what I mean? Like I got a lot of respect for people who make the NBA, and I just leave it at bay because I really couldn't get players like that to do that properly.
Right.
And over the years, I used to just try to brand separate from the NBA. Now I'm learning, like I showed James Harden a movie, like 10 million views.
Yeah.
So doing stuff with the NBA is A1, but most people don't want to do it. And like, I try to respect like high level stuff. If I do workouts with NBA players, I don't film it or anything, you know what I mean? Just because they wouldn't even want you there, you know, they would feel like real slated. And the higher competition, the higher the egos most of the time.
Right.
So,
I would think that like some of them would see the value in just doing it for the promotional element of it, you know? Like,
well, some do. Like Big Baby, who played for the Celtics, we did like a 2v2. James Harden, I showed him a move, but I played with Big Baby,
right?
You know, and James Harden, it was just like, hey, check out this move. Like maybe you could use this or whatever.
But
sure. It's hard, you know. Those guys are busy. Like it has to be something that helps them. So like when I did the James Harden, it was actually a promo for NBA Live, and he was like the spokesperson for it.
Okay.
So therefore, the influencers got to do something with him.
That makes sense.
And then with Big Baby, he was trying to start his YouTube channel, and he reached out, and I was like, oh, let's get it. But he never. I don't know. He didn't do it.
It's kind of crazy because like I feel like you seem like you have a really good attitude about, not having made it to the NBA, but to the people, they're so used to there only being one path that you can really take as a basketball player that they expect you to have a shitty attitude about it and to be like 100%. Salty about it, right?
Oh, dude, it's funny you're even saying this. I was like thinking about this week. But yeah, and I don't know how much money, like, hey, praise God, we cleared 7 figures a couple years now. You know what I mean?
I'm sure you have, yeah. So I'm thinking that too. I'm like, I'm sure, you're making as much as a lot of guys in there. So who the fuck cares, right?
And I only say that because like people still approach it like it's like a small thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some people that don't know, right?
But you've kind of written like the blueprint in a lot of ways for how to be an influencer that didn't make it to the league, but is still able to build a crazy ass business off of it, right?
On accident, yeah. I mean, started on accident. But
you figured it out. There's probably so many other people that are cribbing from your blueprint a little bit here.
Oh yeah, now there's a YouTube hooper community. It's got like a couple thousand people or whatever. I was the first YouTube hooper just on accident.
Do you feel like you get the respect you deserve?
Influencers always show crazy love, and NBA players do too. I mean, Kyrie Irving, a lot of players, they follow me for a long time on social media. So, I think so. I mean, yeah, like I said, like I was reading a thread the other day, and people were like, "This dude ain't a pro," and "This dude does this," and they were having an argument. This dude's like, "No, he's dope," or whatever. And I was thinking to myself, kind of like what you said is like, they'll downplay it, but like, I don't care what you call it AAU. You know what I'm saying? We're doing good over here. I'm not even worried about it, But as far as I really do it to impact people. I don't, like the respect comes is like cool, but like I actually do it to uplift and inspire people.
Right. Yeah. At this point, that feels like that's a big part of it.
Well, yeah. For me, 2011, I actually became Christian, and so I try to. For me, it's about for people. It used to be for myself. Now I try to do it to impact people.
Right. How did that transformation take place?
Actually, it's crazy how it happened. My best friend Escalade, rest in peace, the street ball legend Escalade. He's actually Mark Jackson's brother.
Okay.
Mark Jackson, NBA analyst.
Right. Yeah.
He passed away 2011, heart attack. We were just marketing Ball Up. We were marketing the launch of Ball Up, and I actually found Christ at his funeral. Mark was like he was preaching. He was doing an altar call.
Had you not really just thought about religion all too much?
Not much. I mean, I went to like a Christian preschool. Sorry about Christ when I was younger, but like my parents weren't Christian. They just did it because they felt like it was a good moral, a good place to be. Right. And then my senior year, I went to that Christian school, and I had like Bible class and stuff. I remember I looked at my homie at Bible class. This is the extent I actually thought about God or Christ at that time. I asked him, I was like, is Jesus real? You know what I'm saying? Like I asked my homie, and he was Christian, right? He came from a Christian family. He's like, I think so. And I was like Santa or like real? And he's like, nah, I think it's, I was like, oh, okay. So that was the extent I thought about it. But I had friends out here, like I played in this church league that's sort of like evangelistic, and then like they invited me to church, and I just went just to be nice to them.
Right.
And it was cool. And so I started exploring that. But yeah, my real transformation was at the funeral.
Interesting. So you feel like you're basically able to like what is the goal, and like how do you use basketball to sort of change people's lives and spread the message, and how has that changed over the years?
Sure. Well, like now, like in terms of ministry, that's one way I can impact people. I do like probably like 3 to 5, sometimes 10 free ministry events per year. So like I just did one like last month where some church was having a big I don't know what it was, some sort of like youth convention or something like that. And so I went up there and I just played a bunch of people one-on-one. I did an interview on the stage and just told my story and stuff like that. But I did it just for free or whatever. And then with other stuff, you'd be shocked though. It's probably like you too, right? People reach out to you like, man, I'm so inspired by X, Y, Z. You don't even be thinking about it. So like people have hit me at least 50 to 100 times talking about, man, I had cancer. I was watching these videos every day. You know what I mean? Or even like older people be like, man, you inspired me to pick up a basketball again. I was fat. I'm 50. Now I'm starting to get in shape, get back to it.
Yeah.
So all different ways you can inspire, impact. But yeah, so it's a few different. It could be like for faith. It could be just like to go play ball or to get motivated to go do something else in life.
Yeah. I mean, even just like a model of being able to look at you and see that you're somebody who had a passion, weren't going to necessarily accomplish your dreams, but then built new dreams out of the situation that you were in. I feel like that could be so inspiring to people. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all.
Yeah, 100%. So, so that's kind of my goal with everything. But obviously, try to, from a business standpoint, definitely want to do well and go to new levels and stuff like that. But
100%.
Yeah.
Are you still the same person when it comes to your like pure love of the game? Like, is that still oozing out of you the same way it was when you were a kid?
Yes, actually, even more. Because now, well, it's different though. I approach the game different. So before, I was always like trying to make the NBA. Even when I was on N1, I was still playing like pro leagues in my off time. I was playing like the CBA was like the old G League. It's like the super OG. Like the G League eventually put them out of business.
Okay.
It was the NBA D League at the time. But so I would train like a traditional hooper. You know what I mean? We're doing drills. We hit the weights. Thinking about leading a team and offenses, pick and rolls and stuff like that. And obviously I played flashy, but street ball in that time was actually a bad thing. You know, Skip to my Lou to make the NBA, he had to like lose his street ball MO and conform to the system. Whereas like now the impact from street ball and and-one and everything is like in the game heavy, right? Like Kyrie is basically an and-one street ball player. Steph Curry, like I met Steph Curry 2012. He asked me for a photo. He was like, yo, I remember watching this. I was like, all right. So back then it was harder, but nowadays I'm focusing on just like how to straight entertain. Like you see me play, I'll do moves. I spam moves every play. I don't even care about, you talk to me about some offense, I didn't even think about that. You know what I mean? Just think about like moves, how can I entertain, and how can I dress the video up and make something go super crazy?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, I wonder sometimes when I'm watching you just fucking absolutely own people on the court, I'm wondering how much of that stuff is just pure flashiness that you're just doing for fun, and how much of it is actually meant to sort of like mislead the player and sort of have their weight moving in one direction so you can go the other at a certain point. Like, how much of it is just pure glitz and fun versus like technically useful?
It's both.
Yeah.
I love that you even said that, because these are things I think about. So it's both put together. I think if you're gonna dance in front of somebody, like do a bunch of moves before I get into the move that's gonna like break their ankle or whatever,
Right.
it actually does something. I found that it can mess somebody up, because look, the crowds start to get into it.
Yeah.
There's all this anticipation.
I see you fluster people so bad, and they're just left there. They look so mad, like they just don't have an answer for it.
Yeah, so I found there's value in everything, but how much of it, I don't know. 30% of it maybe, like I didn't need to do it, but like I did it because it's gonna make the video late, or whoever was there was gonna get them hype, and then it makes like the move more hype.
It's just kind of easy for you at this point too, so it's just a fun
second nature.
It's not like it's risky. Like you're not scared they're gonna take the ball from you most of the time.
No, those moves are called promo moves.
Yeah.
So if like you dance with the ball like before you even get to your dude, that's called like just promo. And
Right.
so it's kind of like hypes up the main event, which would be like the ankle breaker or whatever.
Right.
I got that. My OGs used to call it that back in the day. But I think it all goes together and all goes hand to hand. But I'm still working on, when I work on moves, it's not necessarily promo. It's more about how I can like lead the crowd. Like some of my OGs were like some of the best showmen I've ever seen, you know what I mean? And so like I took, pages out of their book on how to like really like lead a crowd. There's an art to it though, you know what I mean? Like I take the crowd like the other day in Utah, right? I start out, sometimes you just got to play real ball the first few games, because like all they see is the highlights, right? So the first 2-3 buckets, I'm just going to get a layup and be like, oh, thank you, like talk a little trash, you know what I mean, and get them hyped up. And then once they get tired and that cardio gets going, that's when you can break ankles. You know what I mean? People got to be breathing. Yeah, they got to be nervous or not ready at all, or they got to be like get their cardio going.
So you're a little bit of like a therapist as well, where you can see what's going on in their head, and you can like read your opponent as this is going on, and
that's all I'm thinking.
And you tailor your whole game to take advantage of that.
100%. That's all. That's all I'm thinking about, is how can I get them tired. Like a lot of times I don't even play D, because I just know, like, this sounds real simple, but a lot of people don't calculate this. When they play, people think how good they could do against somebody. They forgot the cardio. They forgot. Basketball's all cardio.
Yeah,
so
and managing it, really.
Yeah, so I'm like a runner. I run 2-3 times a week. I work out at a rehab facility twice a week, and then I also play on top of that. So my cardio is going to be A1. So I know if you guard me and I do 8 moves, sometimes I'll do like 7-8 moves of possession, right?
Right.
That means you had to be in the defensive stance and chop your feet for like 30 seconds to a
That's
minute.
what I'm thinking sometimes.
If we just
watching,
stand up right here and chop our feet for 30 seconds to a minute, you're gonna be you barely gonna be able to stand up.
Right.
So I know if we get to the 6th or 7th possession, most people can't hit a jumper. They literally, if we're just stop the game and be like, make a jumper, they probably can't hit a jumper. If they can, I'm going to know, like, okay, they hooping, they in shape.
Right.
But most of the time they can't. So, you know, you got to like time your moves. Like when I was younger, I used to try to do everything right out the gate, try to break some of my ankle out the gate. And some people get a hand on the ball, or like it just wouldn't work for the show because it kind of like deflates the crowd energy and stuff.
Right.
Now I'm more scientific about it. There's like a buildup. There's an art to it. And then, like you said, I got to be reading them to know when the right time is to attack and go crazy, which still is a lot of the game, but there's strategy.
I like it. Do you have you ever ran into any bad situations, either from like going to the hood to play, or even just you disrespecting somebody basically through your playing and have them get angry at you or something like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, we bring 3 security guards now.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, wow.
Got to. So yes, I had some run-ins, but nothing super crazy. Like when I do go to a hood or like play anywhere, I try to show everybody love, you know what I mean? And on the video, I try to show it true to its form, you know?
Right.
Like sometimes, like if I played for 2 hours, the vlog ain't gonna be 2 hours, you know what I mean? We're gonna narrow that down. But for the most part, yeah, if somebody gets off, I throw it on the video, and I'm showing them love. And if they even agree to play, they kind of know what comes with it. Like people who don't like me or not, they don't usually even want to play. But
right.
But one time I was playing in the CBA, you know, Chinese Basketball Association. That's their NBA.
Okay.
So I was playing a preseason game, and the dude that was guarding me is like this big 6'5" dude, right? So he started to get tired because I was playing my street ball style play. It was like second quarter, and I did a move. And he slipped and he fell, right? He like did the splits real fast, and I hit the jumper. And even before that, I hit a couple jumpers, right? So they're at home playing their preseason game. They don't know anything about street ball. This kid was only like 21 or 22.
Wow.
But we were doing our thing, and next thing you know, the crowd's on our side. But this is their home base, right? So then I came down, tried to go off the dude's head. He moved his head, though. Like, he moved it to the side, so, like, ricocheted off his head. It was all ugly. So I grabbed it back, and I forget. Like, he don't know street ball. He don't even know that move. So he just thought I threw the ball at his head like I was trying to punk him or something like that. Like it was straight disrespect, not sport. So he picked me up, he threw me, and then like both benches cleared, and they went viral. It's on my channel.
Oh fuck! Yeah, I missed that one.
It was on ESPN that night, like top 10.
Yeah, I mean, bouncing the ball off somebody's head, I could see how that would go over poorly easily. You call it the heezy?
Off the heezy.
Off the heezy.
You got to pick and choose.
Yeah.
You know, with this era, though, the hypersensitive era, it's funny. That movement turned into, like, the most controversial.
Really?
Back in the day, like, I seen, like, Steve Francis was the first player I saw do that. And then I saw, like, Hot Sauce, my OGs. They used to use it all the time. And it was, like, just hilarious. Like, it doesn't even hurt, though. You know what I mean? People did it to me. Like, if you do it right off the forehead.
The flyest shit is the one I seen you do where you do it and then you hold it there for a second, like on their head, and then you pull it back, because that must be really offensive.
I try to do that. I try to do that one more because the hit, you know, sometimes it can be a little low. It might go off the nose.
Ooh, yeah.
Somebody pissed, but
that pissed me off.
Yeah, I like the roll off the head. I try to do that more nowadays.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. When did the security guards come into place? Though, something must have happened when you were going to one of these neighborhoods to feel like you needed that, right?
Well, a few things happened. We had a stalker situation.
A stalker?
Real life stalker.
God.
So 2000 and it's been going for 10 years too, by the way.
What?
So some dude in West LA, I was like near Century City. I was at a Kinko's back in the day. Like I didn't even have a printer or nothing. I'm trying to like send a contract back. You know, sign and send a contract. The printer ain't working. So some dude comes over and he's like breathing over my shoulder real hard. He's standing up. I'm sitting down. And he was like, yo, you're professor, right? And I was like, yeah, what's up? You know? And he was like, yo, I need to play you one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? I can't find no competition in the city. And then I looked up to him and I realized like dude's high or something. You know what I mean? He was completely off. So he started going off for like 10 minutes about how you need to play me and all this. And so finally when I got to talk, I'm like, bro, UCLA right here, the best competition in the country. I was like, you don't need to play me. He's like, nah, I think I need to play you though. You know what I'm saying? You got these certain moves. It's kind of like me. Like I'm like that too. So I was like, okay, bro, honestly, I travel a lot. I said, if I'm in town, I hoop at a church. It says like an hour away. So he's like, oh, what church? What's the address? So I'm like, all right, bro. So at this point, I just want to get out. I just got to leave. So I said, Shepherd of the Hills Church. I wrote it down, Shepherd of the Hills. I said, it's in Porter Ranch. He's like, well, when do you play? I'm like, open gyms like Wednesday at noon. The truth is I went there like once a month, right? And I knew if he came up there, it's a controlled setting. It was real chill. You know what I mean? It's like an outreach ministry situation. So that next Wednesday, I didn't go up there. I was just like chilling in my house, but I got a call. And this is like the head of the sports ministry. And he's like, are you okay? And I was like, oh, yeah, well, what's up? He's like, some dude came over here looking for you, and we had to evacuate the whole church. He said he was going to blow it up since you weren't here. And so I was like, yo, wow. So he got arrested, all that. Then he started blowing up my booking email. He's like, yo, this is so-and-so, man. He's like, I went to jail because of you. He's like, real adamant that we still need to play one-on-one and meet up. And I was young at the time. I I shouldn't have responded, you know what I mean? But I went back and forth. Then dude popped up on me like 2 or 3 more times. And so that really let me know like security is a necessary.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like I said, going to hoop, people try to screw up the production, sometimes near fights. I've had other stalker situations a little more lightweight than that, but like.
Really?
Yeah, so security I found is just super necessary.
Did that situation ever resolve itself with this other crazy guy?
Dude got locked up, and then he got out, and then he pulled up on me like 2 or 3 more times. Just seen dude like, what was that, 3 years ago or something? Maybe 3 years ago I saw a dude again. He was at a kids camp at the same church. I host a camp there every summer, and I was signing autographs and taking selfies with the kids or whatever, and this dude popped up. He had a hat on, though, so he was kind of like disguised. He's like, hey, what's up, man? It's me. I'm blanking. I can't remember the dude's name. I don't need to say it. But he was like, remember, I went to jail because of you. And like,
oh my God.
He's like, but it's all good now. You know, we should hoop. Like, we should get up. And I was just like, hey, like I had security at the time. I was like,
Have you seen him play?
Can you get it, dude?
Have you seen, is he nice?
No idea.
You don't know.
He told me he was A1. He told me he was elite.
That's the most insulting thing about all this. He went to jail and you still don't even know if he's any good.
He showed, well, one time I had a meetup. I only did like a couple meetups, but it was like in Santa Clarita when I used to live out there. And he pulled up to that. And he was like high. He had his ball in his back, but he was like high though. He kept like walking to a fence and then he'd come back and walk to the fence and come back. And I don't think we can even take it to the court. Dude was just like,
right,
whatever. So anyway, hope he's all right now. But yeah. So things like that kind of showed me that security wasn't necessary, you know?
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I know.
Yeah, but it's pretty amazing, like the reaction that you get. Like I seen you pull up on just like a bunch of young ass kids in a vlog, and I mean they're all screaming before you even get near the court, like that's the fucking professor. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. That's him. I was like, bro, that must feel amazing pulling up to like any basketball court in America, be able to get a reaction like that. That's incredible.
Yeah, nah, I feel like it's humbling because with and one, you know, we were up. And then it was nuts. So to feel the down makes you appreciate the up that much more.
And the best part is now nobody can take it from you because you're in charge of your destiny as far as this business goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's a good look. It's a blessing for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
How much work do you put into doing like collabs and stuff like that? Because I seen you playing, doing a TikTok with Sweetie in a vlog and stuff like that. Like, how did you even get lined up with that? And does that's? I noticed you didn't even bother to use that in the title and thumbnail. You made it more about somebody talking shit to you, like a tried and true classic theme. Yeah. So just through different connections, like that one was with this agency with these 2 cats that were pretty cool. We had talked about working out, nothing has come of it thus far, but they were kind of trying to like show and prove. So he's like, I love your videos. I watch And One Forever. These 2 dudes were like longtime supporters, but they do content for like The Rock and Saweetie. And Sweetie, you know, she killed it with the content or whatever. So they seemed like they were beasts. And he was like, yo, she's doing a Snapchat series. Like, you wanna be a guest on a Snapchat series? And I was like, oh, I think that'd be dope. I said, I'll do it. But I said, could we get a TikTok or like a YouTube video out of it? Yeah. And he's like, probably not YouTube vid, but, you know, maybe a TikTok. Yeah. And so, so I showed up, shot it. I don't think her Snapchat series actually even dropped, but we shot the TikTok, but then somebody was talking crap, you know what I'm saying? Like, as we were shooting it. So it was like, I'll bust your ass, man. I, like, watched you forever, but I'll bust you. I was like, all right. Yeah. So I was like, maybe we'll play after. And so, like, we did get some of the BTS, and that's why they didn't allow me. We filmed the whole day, but they didn't allow me to use anything except for the TikTok collab with her. Nice. So that's why I didn't put a title. Also, because like my audience, they're so keen on just watching me embarrass somebody. That's the reason that they're there. If I do a straight lifestyle video, I get like 100K, 200K views only. Really? But I'm just picky now. Like I look at the top YouTubers, like I said, Casey Neistat, David Dobrik.
I say bangers only. I'm only trying to drop if it's a banger. I used to do like filler videos that were like get me over, you know, because I haven't uploaded.
Yeah.
Now I try to just be picky, even if it takes a long time to get to the next one.
Right.
Because I just seen the growth from that and the momentum. You know what I mean? So I try to spam IG and TikTok.
Nice.
But with YouTube, way more strategic. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you where in terms of the business of being you? Is the merch a huge part of it? Is the YouTube revenue still a big part of it? Like, what's the biggest things that we would maybe even be surprised by?
Well, Global Hooper goes crazy.
Global Hooper goes crazy, yeah.
So,
and are you just wearing that the sleeve right now just for additional real estate to advertise, or is there any kind of functional purpose for this right now?
Yeah, no, this is pure swag. It has no elbow treatment.
I'm assuming that this interview isn't that strenuous on your body.
No, shout out to Iverson. He started that elbow brace. That's what turned into the sleeve, just being for style.
I admit it is pretty cool in a weird way. I don't really know why.
Yeah, no, I try to dress like I try to just wear really loud outfits to try to give the merch more pop. You know what I mean? But I seen a couple people lifestyle the sleeve, and I was like, oh, that's hot. I like that. You know what I mean? So I started lifestyling it, and right now we have the 2099 collection. Everything's like a futuristic play, like some Back to the Future vibes. So
wow.
So you need these hater blockers. I brought you some, by the way.
You can play basketball on those?
I did. Oh, it was my recent TikTok. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I brought you some hater blockers. But yeah, no, Global Hooper's big. The biggest thing I make the most money off is actually Facebook, believe it or not.
Oh, I hear this from people here and there.
AdSense is the CPMs are stupid.
You never got your ads taken away on there? I've heard about it happening to a lot of people.
I actually talked to them directly. I did a couple campaigns. I actually have a friend who's like in on Facebook, so I talk to them like all the time.
Oh,
but
nice.
So they helped me solve. I did have an issue one time, and it took like a month. Even though I was in touch with them directly, it took about a month and a half to put out that fire. But
wow.
But yeah, I mean, I try to keep everything like super safe. Like I don't dabble with no third-party music.
Right.
I don't even think of putting out anything. We always say if we're questioning if it's a problem, just leave it out. We're good. You know what I mean? So.
And on Facebook, you can sort of like reuse your catalog over and over, and it goes crazy, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what's dope. But no, I mean, I shouldn't say that. It's either Facebook or like campaigns. You know. Campaign stuff.
So you get a lot of brand deals and campaigns. People want to work with you in that regard too?
Yeah, they'll come and they'll be like, they'll pay like a nice fee, and we'll do like a 30-second YouTube integration, and then they'll be like, can we get a TikTok post, a couple IG story? It'll be like some big package.
Nice.
And then we'll base the fee on like how bulky that is, how much you want me to dedicate.
Did you figure out how much that's all worth and the business of like how to sell that to brands? You figure that all out yourself, or you bring on a team at a certain point, or like an agency or anything like
Agencies.
that? Okay.
Yeah. No, I do have somebody in-house. We brigaded. The biggest one I actually did was actually all in-house. Funny enough, it was something with Adobe a couple years ago.
Oh, nice.
But no, agencies will be on it. You know what I mean? Like, they know the value in it. So like, it's heavy competition for agencies to get big influencers because the advertising is nuts. You know what I mean? And it's way cheaper for them than doing TV stuff or you know, YouTube pre-roll is pricey. You know what I mean? So they could probably pay an influencer. And I'm talking about the big wig companies, you know, Pepsi,
Right.
Taco Bell, Burger King, stuff like that. They know if they can pay a few influencers and spread that out, that's probably going to be a better.
What's the craziest one you've ever done? You said the Adobe one was in-house, but like,
Oh, yeah.
Ones where you just couldn't believe you were actually doing marketing on behalf of this brand.
Oh man, we done Jordan Brand,
wow.
Burger King, Microsoft. I'm blanking, like everybody, like Wendy's.
Right.
Who else? I'm blanking, Zach. Yeah, Mountain Dew. We signed with Mountain Dew for a year one time.
Oh, nice.
I'm a soda addict, so that was cool. I like it.
You ever had the Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew?
Flamin' Hot? No.
Somebody sent it to us in the mail, and we had it. It was so good.
They're beasts with the flavors, though. Like, I was a big fan of Code Red was a sponsor.
I used to drink that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I wasted a lot of money on Code Red. Fuck.
Yeah, it's so good. That's my
was
diet
great,
weakness is soda. I say I'm not really an addict, but like that's my diet weakness.
Code Red was the first thing when I was 16. I worked at the grocery store, and every day when I would leave the grocery store, I would steal a Code Red and I would drink it. And then when I wouldn't have it, I started to realize that I felt bad and that I wanted one. And that was when I first started to understand what addiction felt like. Yeah. Was from Code Red Mountain Dew.
I've been there.
Yeah.
100%. But yeah, no, we've been blessed, man. I work with all the big brands, like doing brand integrations and some long-term sponsorships.
Nice.
Were great. So
where do you see yourself taking the content? It feels like you've almost kind of like maxed out in a sense where you could go with the YouTube and stuff. Like you have such a good machine going with all this. When you think about like what more you could do in terms of content and stuff, what are you thinking of?
As far as the content ideas or just in general?
Yeah, or like bringing it to different platforms and stuff. Like I feel like I could see you kind of helping do content on a bigger level, and maybe even just like doing content that would make basketball itself, or a non-NBA storyline version of basketball. I feel like you could do so much in terms of developing that kind of content and stuff like that.
100%. Yeah, I definitely want to expand on all levels. I think like I've had agencies try to pitch like Netflix shows and stuff like that, but you never know who you're talking about, right? Netflix is thousands of people. So it's like, I don't know if we were talking to the right guy, but I do notice that I really still just want to expand on social, because I notice like for my brand integrations, for marketing, even like this interview right here, like things always come from crushing it on YouTube. Everything's a win. If you're doing crazy numbers on YouTube, like everything's a win.
Right.
And so lately we've been going crazy on YouTube and just trying to keep that on the up. But, hopefully the over 10 mil, try to get to 10 mil subs and go past it. That's the goal. But as far as expanding, I've done acting actually off and on my whole career. I never had any like huge roles or anything, but I moved to LA. I was actually the lead role in a movie. Nice. And it never got released.
That's why you moved here.
That's why I moved here, actually, to expand to acting, because I saw And1 was going downhill. This is before it kind of ended. And I wanted to do that. So I'm actually trying to go back into that. I was in there's an Adam Sandler movie this year I just played myself in, and then Nick Cannon had a movie. I cameoed as myself, but I would love to try to continue to expand that. I'm trying to produce a film.
When did you become the professor, for the record?
2003.
Okay.
Duke Tango is the guy, legendary MC. He would be like on the floor with us announcing. So he gave Skip to My Lou his name. He gave Main Event his name.
Right.
But he said I was schooling people on the court, and I think he thought I looked like a professor too. So,
you didn't take offense to it?
Funny haircut.
You're like, I'll let you call me that.
When he first said it, it was funny too, because I didn't even know if I liked it. When he first said it, I remember I told my brother that night. I was like, "What do you call me? Like the professor? Huh?" I was like, "All right, I guess." But then now it's full circle is like the perfect fit.
Definitely.
But yeah, try to expand, try to get on a streaming show, try to help basketball choreography, all the things I've dabbled in. I would like to go more into now.
Do you know what upload I loved was when you went to that prison in Nebraska?
Thank you, man.
That was a very moving video, because I feel like a lot of time I've watched a lot of prison type stuff on streaming services over the years, but that one just seemed really cool because it's not like they were picking the craziest criminals out of the jail to have them be the ones that are on camera. It was really like you got to see all these guys just hanging out, all just having and so many of those guys said to the camera that this is one of the best experiences that they've had, and just seeing you do your thing really motivated them and made them think that they could be something better. I mean, that was actually kind of moving for me to see that. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Dude, humble, man. That was actually through a ministry. It's called Prison Fellowship.
Right.
They wanted me to go there and just tell my story. And the guy, Jay, remember the guy I was saying, award-winning reality TV guy, he did that show MTV Made.
Oh, yeah.
And he did, was it my 600-pound life?
Because I'm a BMX guy, and they had a BMX rider.
Yes.
I think a girl actually on that show back in the day, and that's the main thing I remember from it.
I think I remember it. So anyway, this dude Jay is a beast. So I saw some of his work, and he's like, what can we do together? Because we had a mutual friend, and he linked us up. And I was like, he's like, would you want to do a documentary? I was like, I freaking love that. I said, I'll look at your work and see what's good. I've always wanted to do a documentary. I was like, I don't know if the book's over, but let's talk about this. So I looked at some of his work, and I was like, all right, you're the guy. I'd love it. Let's do this. And then we took it to, we eventually we're trying to make a film, but so it's on the back burner. But along the way, he was like, hey, can you do me a favor, man? He's like, I got this deal with this prison fellowship. We go to prisons and we bring celebrities in there and we try to do some ministry, but then I'm thinking we could get clearance to play some ball.
Right.
He said, this is a max security prison in Lincoln, Nebraska. Would you want to go there and tell your story? And I was like, you think they'd find value in that? You know what I mean? This is me not knowing. And he's like, oh, yeah, I think so. He said, I think so. And then if you could play ball, he said, I think we can make one heck of a video. And he said, they'll love it if it does good. And so I was like, I agree. The video would be hot if we could do it.
Yeah.
So I went in there. It was a little nerve-wracking at first, but it went incredible. another one of those things meant to be. I only played for 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I got like 80 moves off, and I don't know how many shots we missed that day. 4. So it went perfect, and then I didn't think much of it though, because corporate always screw up my video when they shoot basketball. Try to cinematize it. You know what I mean? We know for a fact. I learned from And1 Mixtape. You just need to stand on the side of the court. You need to be at the right angle, but you need a few right angles. But just shoot at eye level, center the basketball. Like it's just a basic. You know what I mean? Like you try to get all. People try to move around and get all my. I'm like, bro, people want to see the whole play. You trying to show my jersey?
Yeah.
So I didn't have any faith in it. I was doing it more for the ministry. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, it's one of those ministry events I'll do. I said, maybe the video will be all right. Who knows? So he sends it back to me, and I'm critical. I'm an editor, right? Sometimes we'll do like 30 drafts if we have to of a video. But he sent this video to me, and I'm not thinking anything of it. I watched it. Like I said, I was moved too. I was like, well, let's upload it. I had no.
Yeah.
So he's like, let me know the changes. I was like, none. Thanks. Like,
yeah.
So we uploaded it, and that thing did like 20 mil in a week.
Yeah. I mean, one of the guys just kind of almost casually says, he goes, I've been here 35 years. And I'm just thinking about what 1986 must have been like in comparison to right now. Like that just, for a moment, that just put me in the frame of mind of just being like, holy shit, I am so thankful for everything I got going for me right now, because this motherfucker hasn't seen daylight since 86.
Since 80s, bro. Think what you missed. But no, that was what it was for me too. Sorry, I got sidetracked when I was telling you the story.
Oh, no.
I was humbled too. Like, this is a maximum security. Nobody there. There was only one dude that was getting out in like a month.
Right.
Nobody there was getting out in less than 10 years.
Right.
Like, it was like they were in there, and then they had me sit in their cell too. And, you know, Jay was like, ask him what he's in for. And I was like, you want me to? So I was like, what are you in for? And they're like, oh, you know, took a life.
Yeah.
Took a couple lives. It was a trip because, like, you know, outside of bars, from behind a bar, nobody's going to say that. Most
of the dudes that, when they asked him in that vlog, like, most of them say, like, yeah, murder, double murder, triple manslaughter, like, almost all of them, that was it. And I was like,
it was a trip. But what I also learned is, too, to your credit, what you're saying is they're just people who made horrible choices, and there's still people, like, so it's so depressing in prison that, like, me going there, I didn't see the side of it. Me going there was just like a big uplift. It was super fun, and because they didn't, like, no fun ever, you know what I mean? It's just a big routine over and over and over, and there's literally, like literally a lot of depression and, like, horribleness. So, like, a lot of those dudes were And1 fans, so they were like, yo, this is lit, you know what I mean? And we had a really good time, and yeah, one of my best experiences as far as, like, shooting a YouTube video by far.
Right, yeah. That was incredible. Okay, last question.
Sure.
What's the most humiliated you've ever felt after going to film a video or playing a game? Like for the camera, like, has anyone ever kind of done the professor thing to the professor? Like, just sort of just stomp your ass out? Does it ever happen?
Yeah. You know, yeah. So a couple things come to mind. I've got done up when I was younger, like in the And1 days. Like, I remember one time this dude did a spin move, but he stepped on my foot. But I hit the deck. And back in the day, they showed no biases. It didn't matter if Professor was on top or not. They ran on the floor. I got taken out of the game. They yanked, like, you out of here. I'm like, I can't even explain I'm like, step on my foot. You know what I mean? You never can explain, right?
Right.
So that comes to mind. That was in that era. But in this era, I think we went to San Jose. And I have no shame in saying it. This dude was really good. He was 6'9". He was like an overseas player.
Whoa.
But I played him like right off the bat, and he bust my ass like 5-zip.
Oh wow!
But like, I mean, what was I gonna do? You know what I mean? This dude's like, so
6'9". That sounds like a pretty good excuse.
Yeah, I don't really have any shame in saying that. But what sucked is it was like one of the shows that I've done that I didn't really fulfill. I didn't kill it. You know what I mean? Like I played 2 dudes after that, and like they were kind of scrappy too, ex-college ball players, and like I won. I got a couple moves off, but it just like wasn't a dope day, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what I remember. But yeah, I mean, we have played in the park where we get beat. But I don't know. I haven't got dropped in a long time. Like,
right.
I mean, I used to play pickup all the time. Now I only play if we're rolling.
Right.
Like, you ain't gonna catch me playing unless we're making a vlog. But before,
is it just not fun to you, or what? It's not a good use of your time at this point.
Not a good use of time because I keep getting injured.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, basketball to me is fun at every rate, but yeah, now you almost feel like it's useless too, because I used to play in leagues, and like I'll go crazy in a league, have people running on the court going crazy, and I'm like, why didn't we film this? Like, and then at a certain, I think like 2014, I was like, okay, I'm never going to touch the court without filming. Like, this makes no sense. Like,
Really?
keep getting too much dope stuff, and like that could be viral.
Right.
You know, I'm not know how it worked back
How
then,
did you tear your Achilles tendon? Was that the worst injury you've had in recent memory?
the worst basketball injury. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so that injury comes from just being too tight. Like, I'm not a very flexible person, but I hadn't worked out in like 5 or 6 months, something like that. So I hadn't worked out in a long time. And then I think we played too long. You know, at my age now, I try to play for like an hour, hour and a half and call it a day. I think we played for like 2.5, 3 hours. And we got toward the end, and I just did a movement that I never do normally. Like, usually when you go to push off, you kind of like push back into the side. That's how you go to the basket. Your back foot, it pushed back into the side. For some reason, I did like this fake jab step, and I up-faked, and then like I put my foot on my toe right in the middle of my body and tried to like push with all my weight. Achilles just snapped. Like, my body didn't go anywhere. I just hit the deck immediately.
Wow.
But I think it was because like too tight, not stretching enough, not strengthening, not enough movement. So now my goal is like, well, when you do the Achilles, you got to rehab that forever if you want to play at a high level. So I made rehab lifestyle, which is dope because it helps me work out. And then like I run a few times. I just try to never not be active, because when you get active, less active is when you get tight, and then tightness can lead to, that's like your worst enemy.
But you couldn't ball for what, like a year? Or how
it took
long?
me 18 months to actually get to a point where I remember I played a 2v2 for a vlog, and I forgot that I had gotten injured. Like, you know, during the heat of the game, I just didn't think about it.
What was life like for those 18 months, though? Like, because it's kind of like a sneak preview of what it's going to be like to be an old man, right? That's what I always think is kind of interesting about interviews. You're like, you're in your 20s or 30s, but then you get the sneak preview of what it's like to not be able to do that thing that you kind of based your whole life around.
100%. It sucked. And they even told me, like, hey, just be prepared. A lot of people get depression and suicidal during this times because you're not going to be up. So I had crutches, and I was in bed for like the first like 3 months, I think it is.
Right.
And then when you get up, you got the baby legs, so you like will go with the limp, and you can barely get around. Then when you can walk normally, you feel incredible. Like, walking is such a blessing, you know. You don't realize until it's taken away. But no, I don't think I hit depression. I don't think so, because though some people were telling me I wasn't going to recover, my surgeon, he was like, "No, you're gonna be good." Like, he's like, I think you'll be fine. Like, he's like, maybe not quite as. He actually didn't even have an accurate thing. He was like, maybe not 100%, you know, but like you'll be able to make your vids and be good. And
You ended up basically 100%, you think?
better,
Wow.
yeah, came back better. There's a lot of sports rehab has come so far the last like 20 years. Like, it's nuts. Shaq ended his career off the Achilles. Isaiah Thomas from Pistons, he ended his career off the Achilles. Chauncey Billups did it and didn't come back the same. Kobe was never quite as explosive and stuff. Wow. So I was literally thinking I was going to be a part of that, but what I didn't realize is like they got 82 games. The demands of that is way harder.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
82 games, and then Kobe, you know, he kind of, even his last game where he scored 60, right? He's not the same Kobe as before. Like, he was slower and stuff, but I forget, he had a bunch of injuries. You know, he had a knee injury, all this, and he still got to play every other night. So for me, I don't have to play like NBA players, so I can go ham and feel great.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I was bummed though. I was emotionally bummed, but I don't think I ever got to like depression. I had other injuries too. I broke my foot, you know, separated my shoulder. So I was used to trying to come back better, make it your goal to come back better, you know?
That's what's up. Yeah, it just reminded me that I've been trying to kind of turn my dad into a Professor fan, because my dad is like the biggest fucking basketball nerd. Like, growing up, he was just like always going to high school games and college games and stuff, and I always thought it was kind of strange, you know? Like, at one point, one of his friends told me, he goes, "There's probably nobody who knows more about college and high school basketball that isn't working in that world than your dad. Like, your dad is one of the only people weird enough to be paying this close of attention to all
these.
He's
like culturing basketball.
He loves this shit.
I love that.
So I sent him the video of you playing as the nerd, the like 6-minute video. I thought maybe my dad could comprehend what's going on in this clip. And I might send him this interview too, to be like, you know, because I did the same thing when I interviewed Dennis Rodman, because there's not a lot of overlap in terms of people I interview that he would really know who they were. So yeah.
Sure. But no, that's dope, dude. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Phil Graham Mason's going to be a fan soon. That's my opinion.
Who is this?
Phil Grand Mason, my dad.
Oh, okay. I love that, dude. Shout out to Phil, man. but no, my pop's like that too. He goes like local high school game, even though we're, kids are gone. Like local high school games. My parents, they're retired, so they're out here for the next 6 months because my bro is the head coach at Westmont College.
Oh, nice.
So they just want to watch his whole like season.
Wow.
And still support basketball. My pop's just like that though. Same.
Is your dad still super excited about what you have going on?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My parents are like without my parents being that supporter, I don't think I would have done what I did because all the preparation the preparation before the opportunity was put in. Like, look, they put me in every camp.
Yeah.
I had an individual trainer in 4th grade. AAU year round. This is before, like now AAU is standard that it's year round, right? If you want to be a hooper, you just play AAU all year. It's not even a debate. But this is like when that was like a new wave. So I was all year round, gym memberships. They let me keep them awake and make the neighbors mad by hooping on the driveway every day until 1 a.m. You know what I mean? So, they still support really heavy even today.
Fire. Yeah. Amazing, man.
Yeah.
Well, Professor, I'm a big fan, and I'm really in awe of everything you created for yourself. It's quite a life, and much respect, man. Thanks for the interview.
Hey, man, humble, man. You're a media goat, so I'm taking notes. Like I'm humbled to be here, man. Thank you.
Professor podcast coming soon.
I love that. I love the idea that we do an interview. Can I get your...
Of course.
All right. Well, hey, maybe it's cemented. It starts here.
For sure. What do you want them to check out? Obviously, the merch and everything, your YouTube channel, social media in general, I guess.
Yeah, check me out. YouTube, Professor Live, The Professor on all of the platforms, and check it out, globalhooper.com.
Fire.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
The Professor, No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. Check us out on YouTube, SoundCloud, Patreon, etc. Like, comment, and subscribe. NoJumper.com if you want to support. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, thank you.